Any intelligent fool can make things bigger, more complex, and more violent. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. Albert Einstein. My friends, as we look at these charts and we've run the math and done the calculations on our 5-day plus ETF trading analysis and execution plan, and we have 4 directional probabilities going up and 1 going down. And the probabilities are pretty decent, particularly on gold and TLT, which is a bit of a turnaround there, and I'm questioning that one. But we'll jump into it. We'll work our way to it. Let's jump into these charts and start reading these candlesticks and volume. Now, we have, of course, completed 2 of the 5 days in this trading week. And what have we had happen? Well, in the S&P 500 over the prior week, the high was 664.89, 670, 667.34. We have gone higher over the course of the week, although we can see that what's happened in the afternoon today pulled back. I could say sharply, but it's only down a little over 0.5%. But we did see lots of volume in the afternoon and a pullback. Now, as we look at things, first day of the latest 2-day candle, it'll finish drawing tomorrow. Decent volume, about halfway, maybe a little more. We look at where we are on the weekly chart. It looks like it could still get to average, but not that it's going to be this crazy week that it was last week. But things could, the volume could really hike up. But again, I keep telling you, at some point, we're going to have a dramatic pause and pull back. I'm just guessing. We have to at some point. My word, everything that goes up must come down. But since that week beginning the 28th of April, we have just been rocketing. We've had a couple of weeks sideways slide there at the end of July, beginning of August, and then a doji back in early September. But man, going into this 3rd week, things have been a rockin'. Now, where does that leave us? Well, we're paying attention to how things ended the day. We are still long, decently long, but we're watching, we're waiting. The trepidation, each and every week these markets continue to move up. I keep just watching, I keep just waiting, I keep just riding that pony to bigger and bigger heights, but I am paying close attention as to when this market is going to get its legs cut out from underneath it. I wonder what the impetus is going to be. What is going to be the exogenous effect? What the crisis, the thing that pulls the rug out from under the market? I don't know. I hope it's not super, super bad. But at some point, something's going to happen. It hadn't happened yet. We do see a pullback at the end of the day. But, could that be the harbinger? Yeah. Every time we've seen some red over the last many, many weeks, we have wondered, but it's always recovered and moved back up to higher highs. So we will keep an eye on things. Now, let's take a look at where we are on the NASDAQ 100. It pulled back also at the end of the day. And by the way, I do point out on both the S&P and the NASDAQ, look at all the volume. Now, red volume doesn't mean negative volume. I explain this all the time because people get confused because it's red. It only means, and it's an alert for us, it only means that the candle that's red opened lower than the prior close. It doesn't mean negative volume, selling volume. We don't have that calculation here. We just know what overall volume is. And overall volume spiked. And those of you who see it spiking in the afternoon with that down move, that tells you something, doesn't it? We've seen it before, but we've also seen it recover. So we are paying attention. Down 0.66%. Volume's okay so far for the week. About halfway there on the 2-day. And we can see all this volume on the half day. So we will be, again, paying attention to the NASDAQ 100, the tech stocks too. But we are still long on both our stock indices. Let's move on to 20-year U.S. government bonds. Now, this is, yesterday it was down. Today it's up. I told you yesterday, when I have things that start flagging back and forth, bumping down, switching right back over, going up, it's showing me that as far as our calculations go, there's some anomalies there, and I'm not putting a lot into our trade execution summary grid percentages. Why? Because I can look at the candles and see. This is when and this is the reason I say, you got to be in the market every day. You got to be paying attention to your favorite ETFs and stocks so that you learn their personalities, so that you're able to look and see what the charts are showing you and what maybe your calculations and the numbers are showing you, and then what's really going on, and caution. Because we, of course, saw 20-year U.S. government bonds start pulling back on Wednesday afternoon, really hammering down. That was last Wednesday. And Thursday on into Friday, and then popping up a little bit today, still below the weekly trend line on the half day, decently below it still on the 2-day, and has popped through on the weekly. The weekly chart's even below the weekly trend line with a doji, which means extreme indecision. So we have one day of an up move after hammering down for several days. No, I'm not going to switch over and think that it's the time to go long. Could it be? Well, hell, anything is possible. Is it probable? Is it something where I'm willing to take that risk? Absolutely not. I don't care what my numbers show. I'm going to use my common sense, and I'm going to use what I've learned from years of tracking TLT to tell me to be cautious. First rule of trading, don't lose money. Second rule of trading, don't lose money. Third rule of trading, make money. It's so much harder to make up for big losses. It's just so hard to do that than just waiting it out and maybe missing the move. Don't be so worried about missing the move. Be cautious, be smart, and only go for those types of trades where everything appears right. Now, you have to learn that. And you have to learn the nuances of it. And you learn that by doing what? Following your favorite ETFs and stocks every day and practice trading them all the time as you develop that skill set. What does it cost you to practice? Nothing. You can try out all the things, make all the mistakes. When you get good at the small trades and we'll say the practice trades, the paper trades, then you can get into the small trades. That is what we call fractional trading, where you're taking a small dollar amount, like TLT. You look at TLT, it ended the day at what? $89.30 something. You can buy one share. Now, what do you do when you buy that one share? Well, it lets you practice getting into the trade. It lets you practice setting a good till canceled sell order in order to get out. It helps you learn how to actually do it in the marketplace as opposed to just writing a number down on a page in paper trading. It also holds you very accountable, because if you buy that $89.30 something ETF and you lose $6, I'm damn sure glad I didn't spend $100,000 buying that and losing a whole lot more. So what do? You practice trade, you move into fractional trading, and you get good at that. And then and only then, when you feel confident and competent, do you then start thinking about real money trades. That's not a call for us to make. It's a call for you to make, because that's your money. And we're not being paid, nor are we offering to give you real money advice. Let's move on now to gold. Gold up 0.41% for the day. Look at gold. It is shining. We're well above the weekly trend line on the half day, on the 2-day. And look at things just stair steps up as gold continues to climb beautifully. Did pull back some in the afternoon. It was higher in the morning. And again, the market was down too. So we'll keep an eye on things, but the luster in gold continues to shine going into the 5th week. Okay, so lastly, we will take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin pulling back a little bit, 0.44%. Of course, we had 2 weeks of Bitcoin moving up. It started this week off popping through the weekly trend line. Wasn't much of a trend line, not a rocketing up trend like we've seen in the past, but a not completely horizontal, but not rocketing. And of course, we've even pushed through that on the 2-day and below it on the half-day. So again, Bitcoin finding its way, just sort of meandering around. We'll keep an eye on it. Folks, we love to hear from you. If you have questions, problems, concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You want my latest book, 3-Wave Trading Advantage. It is available. All you have to do is become a Patreon supporter at any of the 3 levels, and you also get the 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. God bless all the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.